Hello, David Paul here. Good morning. Okay, what do we have here? This is our second wood site, second log site in the forest, or in a different forest, in numerous forests. Okay, so what we got here is I cut these logs second, so they've been standing for a while. The large ones I showed yesterday, which are the supports for the actual roof of the house, they're very straight. The alder tree, they're rather like a pine wood or something like that in the style of the wood. So that's kind of what you want. You want that log house look, you know, with the vertical columns. However, this is all for furniture. So what I got here, this is sycamore wood, and try not to get my shadow in the picture there. And these are all short sections of sycamore wood which are cut to form the uprights of furniture. So this is going to be the uprights of a settee. And this large log here that I've got, I now have to cut off there and there to form a piece of a log which is going to be about 3.5 meters long, and that will form the edge support of both my bed and a sort of like shelf area at one end and a shelf area at the other end. And in the middle will be, or you know, some distance from each end will be the verticals of the settee. Now, why do I need verticals? Why don't I just have the big long shelf and just sleep on that like a big bunk thing or whatever? Well, I could do that, but what I want to have, I want to have it such that I can have a headboard for my head and a footboard for my feet to keep the things like mosquitoes from attacking me from the head, and I'll be able to drape the mosquito net over that, and likewise at the feet. And also, I've discovered, you know, by experience over the last 2 years, that having beds with no headboard or footboard, what tends to happen is your bedding goes off the other end, so it doesn't retain the bedding. So your bedding slides off the bottom of the bed, or at the top of the bed, your pillow falls off the top, and it's not good. And also, if you have a wide headboard, you can actually put things on top of the vertical log, like your mobile phone. You can put it there and stuff, and you can even put a lamp on it if you want, you know. So it's got 1,000,001 little uses, so worth having. So that's why I've got the short pieces. This here, I haven't decided quite how I'm going to cut the beam out of this yet, because I'm making a video at the moment. So what I'm going to do probably is make nick cuts in this once I've dropped it to the ground, cut through. I ran out of battery power the last time I was here, and I put these nick cuts in it and chip them all off with an axe and dress them off, and then take it out rough cut, and then I'll machine it smooth with a router or something like that. So I think I'll probably do it that way, because the trouble with cutting through lengthwise is it's just that methodology is actually, it's taken a long time. If you put the cuts in and you run out of battery power, you can just leave them, knock the bits off that you've done, come back the next day, do a bit more each day till the log gets thinner and thinner. Although, having said thinner, I'm going to take a substantial amount through this log, so there's not going to be a lot of waste on it. And this is going to be a beast to get out of here. It's going to be a real beast to carry around, but I'll do it. And that's it. So the next thing is to have a look and see how, you know, what these feel like, you know, because they've been standing here now, cut for about a week, and they're starting to dry a bit. I can see the very ends of these. This has got rot in it already, this tree, so it wasn't going to, I don't know how much it would have lived here if I hadn't cut it down. And it's no loss to society, really, to nature anyway, because it's a pest tree in the UK. It doesn't support a lot of wildlife, although it's fabulous wood. So the best thing to do with sycamore is cut them down, use them and enjoy them, and then leave the oak trees alone, you know, leave the native trees alone. So that's what I'm doing. So if one were to cut through that, you would get a beautiful figure on the front. And this tree, I would imagine, inside will have a bit of rot like that. So when it's cut through, you'll have this magnificent look to it. Now the bedding on the bed, I'm going to have the bedding on the bed, but I'm going to sort of tuck it in so you can see the edge of the wood in the cabin. And you'll have the beauty of that to look at, you know. Okay, that's that. Next. So the next thing is to have a feel. See, have they lost much moisture? Well, I have a memory of what they were like when I cut them, because I tried lifting them and they were basically so heavy they're at the limit of your ability to lift them up. So if I'm able to lift these, then it means that you know, if I can readily lift them, I'm not saying that they're not going to be heavy, they are going to be heavy, but if I can readily lift them, then I will know that they've lost moisture. So let's have a feel of this. Let's try this one first. Yes, that's very heavy, but I can lift it. I can lift it. And let's try this one. Whoa, that's a beast. That is also very heavy, but I can lift it. Now, my guesstimation is that they've lost about 20% of their weight. They will rapidly lose moisture, trees, when you cut them down, because basically what have you got there? You've got a solar panel sitting in the sun, and all of the energy that hits that thing, it's not getting hot. It's not getting hot in the sun. It was slightly warm, that actually. It's not really getting hot because all the energy is being converted into removing moisture, so it's going into evaporating the wood. So they'll rapidly cool, and then I put them into service, and then over time they will shrink, and then I'll have to adjust joints here, there and everywhere, and eventually they'll just settle down to their long-term life, and that's that. So this is the third attempt to make this video, and then I realised that I've got no memory, so I've deleted a lot of things so that I can make a video. And I made a comment at the end of it previously about American and Japanese construction. Just a comment. You know, the Japanese produce beautiful woodwork, but they take time over stuff, you know. They take a long time. And there's something to be said for the American construction method, and what I'm dealing with here, so this is kind of a bit of advice, is that as you know, you're pushing your luck with these big logs and things, you know. So I'm not taking this out as a log, I'm going to take it out as a machined down piece of wood, which is going to be within the capabilities of my strength. But even then, it's a very big, heavy piece of wood. But however, Americans, what they do is they mostly construct things out of 2x4s, standard lumber. And so, okay, you make things out of 2x4, and if you want a 4x4, you just nail them together. If you wanted a 6x4, you could nail 3 of those together, and so on. So you can make columns out of 2x2s, and you can make beams, and you can make all sorts of things out of these 2x4s. 2x4s. I said 2x2s. 2x4s. And then occasionally here and there you might want a 2x2. Well, if you wanted a 2x2, what would you do? You'd just rip it down the middle. So as a standard, that is a very good methodology for building things. And as you get older, you're gonna have to say, well, am I going to quit woodworking? No, don't do that. Just reduce the length of wood that you're working with, which is why I like vertical log construction, and also reduce the weight of the thing that you're working with. So when I get to the Philippines, I'm going to be doing some vertical log construction, but I will be using short lengths of logs, and I will be probably cutting those logs down the middle, so that even reduces the weight of them even more. So when you look at the log on one side, you think, oh, I'm looking at a whole log. But what I've done is I've cut it down the middle and then I move them off centre, so that you nip round the other side and you see a load of logs and you think they're whole logs, but they're not. They're just off-centred with each other by half of a log. So each side appears to be full logs, although they're not, and there's not a gap between them because they've been moved across to overlap each other and thus sealed the gap. So you'll see that when I do the house in the Philippines. Anyway, I've got to press on. That's all I can say about this wood here. And so, atilago, makita tayo sa kana. See you later. Jesus be with you.